AI is coming. I don't know enough about it, and a lot of other people don't know enough either. So I'm going to start making videos on the topic, trying to make AI more accessible for other people. The deal is, I get to benefit by doing this due to something called the protege effect, where when you teach something, you start to understand it and learn it better yourself. And then two, you get to benefit because you save time on the hours that I spend learning this stuff and then distilling it all information into information which you can hopefully learn from yourself too. And the place to start is definitions to actually understand some of the concepts that people talk about when they use these words relating to AI. And I don't want to make them inaccessible. I want to explain them in simple terms. So if that means I lose some of the detail, then so be it. In no way am I an expert. I'm just learning, spending hours on this subject, and trying to put that information into a digestible format. So if things are wrong sometimes, it is what it is. Place to start with this is obviously what actually is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is when a computer meets or exceeds the abilities of a human. So when our robot meets or exceeds what we can do. For example, doing human things like problem solving, learning, or reasoning, that is basically AI. Now, an important topic to cover within AI is machine learning. And it's simply when a computer learns to do things from data. Now, machine learning can be split into two different types. You have unsupervised learning and supervised learning. Unsupervised learning is where you basically give a computer a load of data and it figures things out on its own within the data. It figures out relationships, groups. So you're not telling it what to figure out. You're letting it almost do its thing, like pushing a child out into the world and saying, go live for yourself. That is similar to unsupervised learning. But with supervised learning, you're actually giving it outputs. You're attaching an input to thing with an output saying, hey, this is a picture of a cat, and you give it the picture of a cat. Now, I didn't realize that you and I have been doing machine learning for a very long time. When you get a security message telling you to figure out how many cars are in a grid, when you're putting in a password or something like that, and you have to click on them, and sometimes it makes you do it again and says that's not a car, or you have to figure out which ones are traffic lights. That is actually labeling for a machine learning, supervised learning program where you are helping probably what will be an automated car figure out what's on the road by you yourself labeling images that it will then test itself against too. So that's something I came across that I thought was pretty interesting. But within machine learning, you have something called deep learning. And this is its own subsection within machine learning, within AI. Deep learning uses something called neural networks in order to do really complex tasks. And these are quite complicated and I don't fully understand them. But imagine an array of neurons that are split into layers. Now, this is all based on maths that is way far above my head and probably is the limit of what you actually need to know when you just want to be familiar with these words and how they relate to each other. But it's basically where you give it an input, and through these different layers, it figures out different things relating to your input in order to give an output. For instance, you put in a horrible image of a cat, and through this neural network, and through identifying the image, it has labeled it a cat. Deep learning and neural networks are really, really complicated, but they're also super important because they've given rise to something which was what we all use, we've all become aware of, that are large language models. They have given us generative AI, or if you want to just think about generative AI as ChatGPT, for example. Large language models actually use a neural network and this deep learning process to basically understand and generate human text or human language. So imagine this time, instead of inputting the cat here, you're basically inputting all the text that we've ever created on the internet and all the books, and then suddenly you have ChatGPT, which can reason with you, understand what you're saying, write stories, write poems, give you advice on your life and how to be happier, whatever you want. ChatGPT is the output. All you need to think about when you think about generative AI is basically AI that creates audio, text, and images. And these are high quality. So AI is kind of replicating human capabilities by creating audio, text, and images that we like, enjoy, and can use. So when you hear words being thrown around like deep learning, machine learning, AI, recognize the path that machine learning is a type of AI, deep learning is a type of machine learning that uses neural networks. Neural networks have been responsible for large language models. Large language models create generative AI, which is basically ChatGPT that we're all using. A few other words that you'll probably come across when you hear about AI. One is AGI. AGI is when artificial intelligence can do everything that a human can do. It can move fingers like me, it can write a song like I could, it can do everything that we can do. And this is quite a widely debated topic in the AI community about when this is going to happen and what steps we're getting closer towards. But some people might say 3 years, and another might say 30. But think about it as the point when a robot has human intelligence and does everything that we can, or if not, better. Then ANI is artificial narrow intelligence. When you're thinking about ANI, think about things like your movie recommendations in Netflix or on Instagram. Think about self-driving cars or things like Alexa and Siri. They can do a lot of things, but they're particularly restricted to a narrow certain set of tasks that are quite defined. And there's another version of this where either Terminator happens or we all live in a happy fairyland that is ASI. I think about ASI as AI that's got so smart we can't even comprehend it. It could solve many of our problems, provide unlimited energy, cure all diseases, or perhaps most importantly, figure out how to actually do my laundry. Now, that was a very quick whiz through of all these AI definitions, but I hope it's made you feel more confident with at least how they relate to each other and what each of them might mean. There are two huge ones that I haven't mentioned, and probably a load of others that people will tell me about and that I might come across in the future. They are prompt engineering and this kind of buzzword at the moment, AI agents. Now, because these things are so important, I'm going to do a whole new video about each of them separately. So stick around for that. If not, have a great day.